Fun pocket speech ready to go.
No pressure. Thank you very much.
Jim, how long would you like?
What's that?
How long would you
5
like?
to 7? So it's interesting. Arnie brought up actually a couple of interesting things that relate to the speech that I plan on sharing with you today. First off, this speech was created by Chaucer. Preset your expectations for the speech. And we just got done with Valentine's Day, which is a fantastic and wonderful time of year, and it's really based on romance and stuff like that. And romance is great when it's working. It's not so great when it's not working. And that's exactly what this speech is about. So I have a friend that I went to high school with. I've known him for time eternal, basically. And we stay in touch. We probably have a phone call like once a month or something. And it just, shooting the breeze. Sort of like, how's it going? How's it going? All stuff like that. He married, actually, a girl that he went to high school with. And they've been married at this point in time 26, 27 years, something like that. So, I mean, in our modern age, we would consider that to be a very successful relationship. Congratulations. It's interesting, though, because, over the time I've had a chance to talk with him, and we sort of talk about everything. We talk about literally everything, because what else are we going to talk about? Stuff like that. And he's always been pretty happy with his relationship. But the relationship with his wife has never been perfect. And so what's been the problem with the relationship? Well, sex, of course. I mean, if you're going to have a problem with it, sex. His problem with his relationship is that he never really felt that his wife desired him. That's a problem. But that sure seems, if you buy a copy of Cosmo, it seems like that's the type of problem you can work through, right? It can't be that hard. What's interesting is that my friend has been married for over 20 years. He's been working at this problem in his relationship for well over 2 decades without having solved it. So I had to constantly listen to him complain. He's to the best of my knowledge, he's a normal sort of guy, normal sort of urges, all that, so he's fairly normal. But for whatever reason, he couldn't seem to get his wife interested in him. Now, they've got 2 kids, so clearly something's going on, okay? But, he never came home and she was wrapped in cellophane or anything like that, right? Okay? She never seemed to be terribly excited about any of his amorous proposals. She was okay with it. She'd go along with it and stuff like that, but he just didn't seem to flip her switch. Can you get through life like this? Yes, you can. It's not a big deal, but he was extremely frustrated because he was trying to figure out what he was doing wrong in the relationship. A fair and valid thing. And, as his friend, I could make suggestions, but pretty much just from the last issue of Cosmo that I had read. So I'm not sure how valuable my suggestions were and stuff like that. But what's interesting was about 6 months ago, my friend had a relationship breakthrough. And I apologize, I can't exactly tell you where he got this information. Undoubtedly the internet, because that's where we get all information, right? What he discovered is if you take humanity as a whole, we can be divided up into a series of, let's call them, sexual groups. All right, let's call them. So you have your straights. We know what straight people are, right? Boys who like girls and girls who like boys. We're fine with that, okay? You have your gays. Boys who like boys and girls who like girls. You have your bisexuals. I like everybody. It turns out there's one more group. That group is the asexuals. And an asexual person has no sexual urges. Wow. As somebody with sexual urges, it takes a moment for you to sort of ponder that. It's like, wow, what's wrong with them? Some wiring get messed up, or are they screwed up or something? It turns out, no. Asexuality occurs in roughly 1% of humanity, so it's really relatively small group. What's even more interesting about asexuality is 70% of the people who are asexual are women. It's just a very sad 30% of 1% of guys out there who are like, yeah, no, I'm not doing anything for me. But so it's a really small group of people that just don't have, I guess, a libido. They just nothing. So my friend decided that his wife must fall into this category. And I told him, well, you know, that's a little sad, okay? But I've got some good news for you. I don't think she's going to be leaving you for another man. I mean, if he makes more money or you have better prospects, yeah, sure. But you know, basically, the pool boy is not a threat to your relationship. Good news, right? So it's interesting because he sat down and he had a talk with her, and he explained his internet discovery with her. She was pretty, you know, sort of that. So she went online and she did some research, and she found out another piece of information, which I found to be absolutely fascinating. It turns out there's a group of people called grays. Now, grays exist in that strange little area between sexuals, sort of quote-unquote normal people, and asexuals. Grays exist in that in-between one. And what's interesting about a gray person is they do have sexual desires. But the way it's described is that when they have something that presses their button, flips their switch, it's way in the back of their brain. And so they're aware of it. Wow, he looks good. Wow, she looks good. But they don't take any action. So the best example I could give this to you is, so you're driving to work, and you remember that you left the light on in the bathroom. Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to turn the car around and go back home and turn off the bathroom light? Or are you just going to say, yeah, don't worry about it, whatever. Okay? That's effectively, as I understand it, the way that a gray sees sexual desire. Yeah, I can understand that, but nothing for me. So my friend, she came back to him and said, hey, listen, I don't think I'm an asexual, I think I'm a gray and stuff like that. So my friend has married a fantastic and wonderful woman in every possible way, great mother to his children, et cetera, who's a gray. And he's actually over the moon at this point in time, because after 25, 26, 27 years of marriage, he now knows what's going on. It's not him. The problem, if there was a problem, was not him. He wasn't doing something wrong or incorrect or something like that. It's his partner sees the world differently than he does. And that's a huge breakthrough for him, basically a weight off his shoulders. So now he has to figure out how to work out his relationship with his newly discovered gray wife. And you know, it's early on in the process. He hasn't told me how he's going to go about doing that. But you know, in the scope of problems, well, I think that's something that can be solved, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, sir, for that interesting talk. If anybody thinks that the urge to procreate